What's up, CBS Sports HQ YouTube fans? I'm Erik Kuselias, and I'll be breaking down the AFC East division today with futures, picks, props, and more. Here we go. Yeah, Patriots. I'm Erik Kuselias. You know, last year was a post-Brady debacle in Foxborough. Injuries, opt-outs, and no TB12, and as a result, they had to experience something they don't really know much about up in New England, no playoffs. But, you know, the experts expect a bounce-back season. They're not giving them away at 9.5. I agree. I think 9.5 is very fair. 9 or 10 wins. If I caught it at 9, I would take the over because I don't think this is a losing record team. But at 9.5, I'm going to stay away. What I will play is New England to make the playoffs at plus money. I think with that schedule and this team and 7 teams making the playoffs, I think New England's going to get one of those spots. Now, as for the individual props, the fact that the Pats cut Cam Newton and they turned to rookie quarterback Matt Jones, that has me bullish on the overs on Damian Harris. He's 850.5 rushing yards. I also like his touchdowns over. You know the hoodie loves to run it inside the 5. And this is a team that even when Brady was in his prime, they led the NFL in rushing touchdowns some year. How is Damian Harris not going to have a great year? Take him in fantasy, take him on his overs, thank me later, go Pats. Yeah, Miami, I'm Erik Kuselias. All right, Miami last year gave you a little bit of a surprise. You know, 2 years ago they started 0-8. We were posting odds for them to go 0-16. But they played pretty well in the second half and then carried it over into last year. But I think they were a little lucky. And I'm going to go under this 9.5. They got to go 10-7 to beat us. I can't see it. No, love it. Under. In fact, I know they're plus 125 to make the playoffs. I'm going to bet them to not make the playoffs at minus 130. That to me is a very, very smart play. This is not a playoff team to me. I'm not going to bet on Tua. I'm not saying he's a bust, but he's not Justin Herbert who got taken after him. You know, last year, 100 attempts, only quarterback didn't have a 40-yard completion. It just seems like this is a guy that's going to be up and down and is just going to be okay. As a result, fantasy-wise, I don't love any of their wide receivers. When you have a decent but not great quarterback and a lot of mouths to feed, that is not the recipe that I want. Who's the number one guy here? Go ahead, tell me. Is it Will Fuller? I mean, he's suspended week 1, but he's a really good player when he comes back. Jalen Waddle, rookie? I don't know. Devontae Parker, former first-round pick? Maybe. Preston Williams? I mean, there's too many mouths to feed, not enough of a good passing game. I might take a flyer on Myles Gaskin. Only 3 running backs, averaged 4 catches for over 40 yards receiving a game. It was Austin Eckler, it was Kamara, and it was this guy. So maybe he's the guy you want going a little later than he should in some fantasy drafts. Yeah, Buffalo, I'm Erik Kuselias. You know, before last season, it was a long, cold winter in Buffalo. Metaphorically, literally, for like 25 years. And then last year they broke through, won the division, first time since 1995, 13-3. This year, numbers 11 with a 17-game slate. I sort of would lean over. Not my favorite play, but I'd go more over than under. Everything here runs through Josh Allen. And so my player prop is Josh Allen win the MVP at plus 1,000. They've scored 84 touchdowns the last 2 years. He has either thrown or run 74 of those. That's right. And he was second last year in the MVP. And Josh Allen is the guy. If they have another good year, he's going to win. You get plus 1,000. I love that. But I'm going to bet against his rushing total. My personal player prop to bet against is 500.5 rushing yards. Every year, his rushing total has come down. Last year it was 421. I think it comes down again, 500.5, just way too high. Fantasy-wise, you got 2 running backs in the backfield, but if I'm going to take one, I'm going to take Zach Moss. He's the goal line guy, and I want the guy who scores touchdowns, not the other guy. And I think that if you look, Stephon Diggs is a great player, but he goes a little too early. You know, he had 3 touchdowns in 1 game, doesn't score enough for me. 42 players caught 20% of their team's touchdowns. He wasn't one of them. He's going to be the 3rd receiver off the board, but he should not go to you. But I do like their schedule for fantasy guys. Remember, in the playoffs, Carolina at home, at New England, Atlanta at home. Fantasy goodness if you get the Bills on your squad. Yeah, Jets! I'm Erik Kuselias. You know, they're staring down the barrel at 0-16 last year, and they don't even end up with the first overall pick and the right to draft Trevor Lawrence. I mean, how Jets is that? Even when they win, they lose. Yikes. But this year, their over-under total is at 6. It's pretty high. I mean, they got to go 7-10 if you take the over for you to cash that ticket. If we bet the under, they got to go 7-10 to beat us. I think that's too big of a jump. I'm going to play the under, even though that total is low compared to the rest of the league, because I think they're a year away. I actually think the Jets are finally on the right track for the first time in a while, but it's not going to happen this year. They draft Zach Wilson, number 2 overall. You know they had to go quarterback. They were last offensively in yards, last offensively in points. It was UGLY. They had 25 touchdowns as an entire team last year. Russell Wilson, personally, had 28 in the first half of last year. Alone in the first half. That's how bad it was if you were gangrene. So what do we want to do when it comes to a fantasy perspective? I'm going to go and look and say we're going to wait on the Jets, right? Which receiver is going to emerge? Not sure. You know, they'll be on the waiver wire, don't you worry. Which running back? I think it's going to be Michael Carter. And how good is Zach Wilson? I'm not going to bet my team on him. He's not a starter. You know that. So fantasy-wise, this is a waiver wire team. But when it comes to a prop bet, I like Michael Carter over 550.5 rushing yards. He's the guy. You know, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. There's nobody else. So he's going to get opportunities. If he doesn't get hurt, he should get over that 550.5.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.